have been on a bender. I have been on a bender on eBay. And I have some things that I can show you today, and I have some things that are coming in while I am gone. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I have today. I have been kind of on a kick of sourcing vintage Christian Dior right now, because Christian Dior right now is, in general, vintage Christian Dior is incredible, but people don't look at vintage Christian Dior as like the vintage YSLs or the Gucci's, Pradas, which is really odd. I find it very odd. The pricing fluctuation is very different. Vintage YSL is way more expensive than vintage Christian Dior. I am not really a modern day Christian Dior girly. I'm more of a vintage Christian Dior, so it works for me because I can find pieces that are incredibly cheap for what you're getting. And so I have 2 Christian Dior pieces that I'm going to show you today, and then when I get back from vacation, I think I have a couple more coming in. But my main thing that I search for when I do go on eBay is this is my roundup. I'm going to give you guys my bread and butter. I search vintage Schiaparelli, vintage Christian Dior, and then what I do is I circle back around and then I do shoes. So I do that same thing, vintage Christian Dior shoes, or vintage Christian Dior whatever it may be. But my main search, because I know people are going to ask me, my main search option when I go on there is vintage and then whatever it is. And those are the 3 that I always search for. Dior, Christian Dior also. Don't type in Dior, type in Christian Dior. If you type in Dior, you're just going to get like Y2K shit. You're not going to actually get like the old stuff, which I want the old stuff. So vintage Schiaparelli, vintage Christian Dior, and vintage YSL. You don't do Saint Laurent because Saint Laurent is modern day. You want to do YSL because that's going to be Yves Saint Laurent. So those are my kind of tips and tricks when I do go on there, because I do get people who usually ask me like, what do you search for? How do you find this? All right, so let's get into the first thing that, just throw that over there. This was a really good find for me. This was a fantastic find for me, actually. This is brand new with the tags still on it, but this is a men's Christian Dior blazer. Again, tags still on it, brand new, and look at the colors in it. So I knew I needed to have this because this is in pristine condition. It's brand new. This is probably from, I want to say the 80s. This is 80s Christian Dior. I ended up getting this one for $70. So to get a Christian Dior, look, tag is still on it. So hold on, I wonder, no, this has to be older than that because this is only $275. So back in the day, like when this, $275. I need to look up horns. Tag is horns. I don't know what that is. Kind of crazy. So I'm going to look that up. I ended up looking it up. It ended up being a high-end department store in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But kind of crazy. $275 original price for Christian Dior blazer. I'm interested to know what the year of that is. I'm going to have to do a little more research on that. But let's get into the next package. Again, we are on Christian Dior kind of theme, I guess, if you will. So I saw this because I've kind of been on a kick ever since I went to that vintage market, and I ended up buying that acrylic Lacoste cardigan, and I love that. I traveled in that to New York when I went to New York, and it was the most comfortable sweater that I've ever worn, and I was worried that I was going to be too itchy. I don't know, my skin's a little bit sensitive, but I was kind of worried it was going to be too scratchy for me. It was not at all. It was one of the most lightweight, comfortable. So when I saw this one, that's Christian Dior, I was like, yeah, I'm getting this. So this is the color. This is the same. I got an extra large because I wanted to wear it really oversized. The Lacoste one that I got was also an extra large. So I know it's going to look really great, kind of styled how I like to. And then you have, this is in pristine condition. I don't think anybody wore this. I'm not even kidding you. There are no holes in it. It doesn't smell. Like, I got this for $34. Like, that's insane. And this is so my color. So this was my other Christian Dior find from eBay. And then I have some other things coming, but I want to show you one other thing that I ordered. I saw this store in New York and I was like, huh. And then I randomly was like, well, let me kind of see what they have. And I ended up ordering something from there and I want to show you it. I have not opened it. I'm a little nervous because I don't really know what to expect, but I figure I'd show it on here as well. Addicted. At first I thought it was like etiquette. But it's definitely addicted. They have a storefront in Soho. So I was like, I'll see what we're working with. So I ended up getting these like sequin. I ended up getting these sequin jeans. I don't know. I think they're pretty cool. I ended up getting a medium. I think they should fit fine because I wanted them to be a little bit like bigger. I don't know. I think they're pretty damn cool. And the jeans are very lightweight. They're not heavy with all of the sequins that are on them. I'm gonna have to style something with these. I think these are really cute. So anyway, I ended up getting these. Man, I don't know how much these were. These, I feel like these were like maybe 30 bucks, maybe not, I don't know. But I'll have to style these. But yeah, I ended up getting those. Really interesting store. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. But like I said, I had walked by it in Soho and I was like, huh. But it was so cold. I was not doing any shop. I was not doing anything except for the vintage market. So yeah, that's the haul today. When I get back from Hawaii, I will show you the rest of the other half of stuff that I ended up getting. The 2 Christian Dior's. That's amazing. Those are amazing finds. I'm glad I found those. I'm not really on the hunt for anything at the moment. I do go on every once in a while and search to see if there's something, but to find both of those pieces for $100, crazy talk. So thanks for watching.